Damn!
You can paddle a kid today, and you walk out to your car after the class, he live out there with a gun and want to shoot you.
Wait,
video. Matter of fact, you're going to want to put it on TikTok and Instagram. You know what I mean? Look what I did to the
You're tuned in to Kaz TV.
It's an altercation that broke out between a coach or a teacher and a high school student. What do you do in a situation like that?
Let me tell you. That's beyond mentoring.
Hold on, let me get that off again. There we go.
Let me be very clear, right, to your audience. That's assault. He needs to be in jail for that. You understand? I don't need to hear what was said. What I saw was a teacher that was backing up. He was not in the kid's face, and the child approached the teacher, right? And that child struck that teacher multiple times because these kids are out cold like that. They're out of their minds. What should have happened, and I hope it did, is that teacher pressed full charges on that. I don't know how old that boy is, but he had to be at least 16, 17, just by how he was looking. And I hope that the weight of the law came down on his behind, and he's sitting somewhere in prison or in jail. I'm not saying for life, because that didn't warrant for him to be in prison or jail for no damn 20 years of his life. I'm not saying that. But does it warrant for him to be in a facility somewhere where he can experience maybe what he did to that man and understand that that's something you don't do, and you ain't tough, you ain't laying like that? Because that came from that boy being cocky. From what I saw, the teacher didn't strike him. Teachers talk and give authority. That's what teachers do. If he told him to sit down and get out my classroom, it sounded like the boy says, I'm not going nowhere. So that comes from that boy trying to prove something and having an issue with authority. So when you get children like that, that's beyond the prison doctor just coming into his house to talk to him. You understand? Because if that boy would have tried to do that to me, I'd be in jail right now. You understand? So what needs to happen is that boy needs to feel the weight of the law, and he should be sitting in jail or prison right now for a few years. Just a little sit down. And maybe those boys in there, some of them brothers in there, will show him that he ain't really as tough as he just tried to make himself look on that video.
Yeah. Now, see, Love, I know you had a question about something about teachers, how much authority they should have or something like that, right?
Yeah, so there was a point in history, and it's still allowed in some spots, but not as common, not nearly as common as it used to be, where corporal punishment was a thing. The teacher was able to paddle the child. Do you believe that this is something that we should go back to, or do you think that should come back? And I'm asking as a teacher.
Sure. It depends. It depends. But see, to take it back there, too much damage has been done in the psyche of children, and to go back to that, right? Mm-hmm. Children now have a different bravado, a different cockiness to them. Children have more access to guns and carrying guns in schools. You know what I mean? Children are more revengeful. You know what I mean? Pride has taken over in a lot of our children's psyche. So in our day, we weren't so prideful like that. We submitted to authority. We didn't have a problem with submitting to authority. So it was a different dynamic mentally back then. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you turn the clock so fast forward, you can't go back. You know what I mean? Some things are just lost in time. Right. And you got to accept that. So ideally, going back to that time where kids was disciplined by teachers and understand that, look, you ain't gonna come in here acting out. Ideally, I could see that possibly coming in. Wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. But in today's times, because the psyche of children is so hype and they're so revengeful and they're so strapped and they're so gang related and prideful. You can paddle a kid today, and you walk out to your car after the class, You know, he live out there with a gun and want to shoot you. You know,
Wait before you-
video. Matter of fact, you're gonna want to put it on TikTok and Instagram. You know what I mean? Look what I did to the you know, so that's the reality.
I think part of it too is, like you said, there was a little bit back then of when you got a spanking or you got punished, there was a little bit in the back of your head that felt like, you know, I kind of deserve this.
Yeah.
And I think that because a lot of, you know, the foundation has been, you know, just destroyed in the home. The moral foundation has been destroyed in the home. Now there's not a, well, deep down they love me. They think this person just attacked me. I'm going to get revenge. I don't see any benefit to what I just went through. So that's a good point. That's a very good point. So those things would have to change before even trying to bring that back, is what you're saying.
Yeah. There's steps to everything. You know, you can't just rewind the clock and go back in time and make things like it used to be. Sometimes you just have to let things be as they are and work with what you got. The reality is that our kids now are more sought of towards teachers and adults and their own parents. So what makes you think that a child is going to sit there and allow some strange teacher to take a paddle, you know, and paddle him, you know, and he's 14, 15 years old? Hell, I deal with kids, as y'all guys know, that's 9 years old who's putting their grandmas in chokeholds. You know what I mean? So we just you can't do that. And that's the sad part of it, is that we've let this culture in America just fall by the wayside. Now, listen, if you take that same kid that you're talking about, C-Love, and put him in Africa, you take him to Jamaica, you take him to some of those other countries over there, and then we're talking a different story. You understand? That you're a whole different ball game. But because we're here in this country and these laws have classified and made that behavior more acceptable, you can't turn back the hands of time in this country with these children. You understand?
Yeah.
You have to strip them naked mentally. You have to break them down and get that all that pride and all that stuff out of their brains to make them think that they're tough and bad and nobody can touch them, and the law, you know, they already know the police can't do nothing. They say that. They tell you, police can't touch me.
Really?
Therapy can't touch me.
They will tell you that.
Parents can't touch me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
If the kids are telling the parents that you can't put your hands on me, and if you do, I'll get you arrested and call CPS, how the hell are we going to go back to a time where a teacher can paddle a child?